Is an endorsement from convicted felon, civilly liable rapist, failed former President Donald Trump useful if you are a Republican running for office in 2024? Well, Donald Trump was crushed by some humiliating primary disasters last night. And it's certainly plausible, and it seems to be pointing in the direction of that Trump endorsement not really having the turns to gold touch that maybe it had at some point, although maybe it never really did, because Donald Trump has been overstating his endorsement record for year after year after year. Some examples. In South Carolina, as I mentioned, Trump endorsed candidate Pastor Mark Burns lost to Sherry Biggs. I will admit, this brings me personal happiness. We had an interview. Is it petty for me to be thrilled that this lunatic lost? We were scheduled to interview Pastor Mark Burns last week, and we connect for the interview, and he's not there. Some other dude is there. And I'm like, oh, this must be some tech guy. But it's actually his communications director who says, I'm going to be doing the interview. To which I said, why? We're scheduled to interview the pastor, the actual candidate. He said, no, we decided I'm going to do it. To which I said, no, you're not. So anyway, they were very confident about how they were speaking to all the right people in South Carolina's 3rd District. Appearing on this show was not important to them, which, by the way, they were right. I mean, the interview would have been a disaster, and it would not have helped them to do the interview. Mark Burns lost, and I am thrilled, and it is another loss for Donald Trump's endorsement record. Trump-endorsed Republican Dave Williams lost his Republican primary in Colorado's 5th congressional district to a guy named Jeff Crank. And Congressman John Curtis will be the Republican candidate to succeed Senator Mitt Romney in Utah, defeating Riverton Mayor Trent Staggs, who was also endorsed by Trump and also lost. So there's a few different things here. Number one, Trump could not care less. None of these people are him. Trump primarily cares about himself. They're all out of sight, out of mind for Donald Trump. But this is a pretty terrible night for Trump's endorsements, considering that he has a sort of dream of becoming president and controlling the House with a MAGA slate of members of Congress, and even his hand-picked candidates can't get across. Forget about general elections. They can't even get across the primary finish line. So I think that this is an opportunity for President Biden to exploit the division that's taking place within the right wing. Outgoing Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger has formally endorsed President Joe Biden, not because Biden's conservative, but because Adam Kinzinger sort of believes in some of the bedrock principles of democracy, including that we should have a democracy rather than a dictatorship. So a lot of chips are starting to fall here against Donald Trump. And Joe Biden should have a plan. I don't know that he does, but Joe Biden should have a plan to exploit this division. And Trump having endorsees lose a bunch of these primaries is a very bad sign for him. Now, of course, if Trump is confronted with this information, he will blame the candidates. He will say, I endorsed them, but they ran a bad campaign. I endorsed them, but they were not really MAGA enough. They shied away from MAGA, and that's ultimately why they lost. But it's important not to lose sight of the reality here, which is this all points to the diminished power of the Trump endorsement. And that's a very good thing, because anything that gets in the way of Trump being able to implement Project 2025 is a very, very good thing. Now, speaking of Project 2025, we have released our white paper. Some people prefer to call it a guide. This is free. We spent the last month writing and fine-tuning and massaging and preparing a white paper explaining what is Project 2025, why does it present such a risk, and how do we stop it? I am inviting you to download this white paper for free at davidpakman.com/project2025. I'm not selling you anything. This is completely free because it's so critical that we defeat the mere possibility of Project 2025. So if you're still not sure about why this is so critical, if you know people who don't yet understand the issues and dangers of Project 2025, get this white paper. I haven't even mentioned it on the show yet. We published it yesterday. 1,500 people have already downloaded the guide, which is fantastic. Okay. So we're talking about it. It's available. davidpakman.com/project2025. Let's hope that the diminished power of Trump's endorsement signals the diminished power of Trump, which will lead to a Trump loss in November, which will stop Project 2025 in its tracks. Let's take a very quick break, hear from a sponsor or two. I'll give you the latest on debate prep. I'll give you the latest on performance enhancements, and then we'll be joined by Dr. John Gartner. It is time to start thinking like voters and to make sure that kids understand the importance of voting, how it works, registering, ballot initiatives, because so many kids just have no idea. That's why I wrote the new children's book, Think Like a Voter. I can think of no better time and no more important group of folks to try to reach. The book is now available at davidpakman.com/book, where, by the way, you can get the first two books in the series as well. Think Like a Detective and Think Like a Scientist. Really important stuff. Donate them to local libraries, classrooms, read them with the kids. davidpakman.com/book.